Well, welcome everyone. I'm Steve Savant. We're broadcasting live from the heart of Phoenix, Arizona on KXXT Family Values Radio. And I also want to welcome our online audience on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And I want to give a big shout out to Beyond Fear to Freedom, one of the best Christ-centered fellowships that provide a safe and loving community for women in recovery. Just check out their website at beyondfeartofreedom.org. And if you want to go ahead and contact me, my email address on the show is steve@180uturn.com. That's steve@180youturn. On today, on 180, I want to welcome back Chris McCrimmon to our show. Welcome back again, Chris.
Thanks for having me.
All this week, we're going to unpack Chris's story. If you miss any of our episodes, I highly recommend that once the broadcast goes through KXXT, the next week I put it out online, you should watch it in order so you get this in chronology. It's way easier to understand, track with what we're talking about. We'll tell a story. You'll say, hey, I don't know what they're talking about. Well, that was because we talked about it in the previous episode. Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about this. We talked about the whole beginning of your life, your grandma who was great to you. You know, your mom did 7 years down for fraud. So you're the second generation of people going to prison. Yep. I'm in 3 generations now, right? My dad, some of my brothers, their kids, all have done time. So I have to just say, incarceration is a stain on the family, right? It is for me. Amen. But I also see it as a glory because some people have come through prison on the other side and found the Lord or come back to the Lord. Or there's so many things that can happen in prison that can be positive, not just the negative things you see on the press. Okay, you finally got caught by the police. You're going to go to Juvie Hall. You're going to go to the detention.
Yeah.
So tell me about the arrest. What happened that time?
Well, I got arrested basically for auto theft. I had rented a car from a dope fiend, gave him some crack, and had his car for like 3 or 4 days. And he called the police. He wanted his car back. He called the police. So, and he told him my name and everything. So I got arrested for auto theft for his car.
And how old were you?
I was 16.
16. Wow, that's pretty. You just barely get your license at 16, right?
Which I didn't have.
Which you didn't have. Okay, so you don't even have a license.
No.
You just drive it.
Just driving.
Okay, so when you went in front of the judge, what was his prescription for you? Hey, 6 months?
Oh no, I did 2 years.
Yeah, because it's auto theft.
Yeah.
What's Juvie Hall like?
It's like you better man up. That's what it's like. Like, hey, this is what it is, so get ready.
Okay, how tough would you think? Did you expect? It's the first time you're incarcerated.
Yeah.
So what did you think when you first said, "Oh, this is harder. It was easier than I thought"? What did you think?
I really didn't think. I was just like, whatever it is, that's what it is. Let's do it and get it over with. Because I want to be free. Mm-hmm. But the thing that I liked about it was they had basketball, so I was good at basketball, so everybody wanted me on their team. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't as bad, but I'm from Tucson. Mm-hmm. I went to Juvenile in Phoenix at Adobe Mountain. Mm-hmm. Tucson is Bloods. Phoenix is mostly Crips. Mm-hmm. So that was like a clash right there.
Yeah, even in Juvie.
Oh, especially in Juvie. Huh. Especially in Juvie. Because when you get to prison, it's like a black or white thing. Mm-hmm. Like you get with your race.
Right.
In Juvenile, it's like your neighborhood, where you from. Mm-hmm. So.
Well, tell me a little bit about, because our listeners are probably completely offline when it comes to Bloods, Crips. Where are the Bloods from?
Well, my neighborhood was Western Hills and South Park.
Mm-hmm. And the people that you were meeting up here in detention center from
was Crips. Yeah, from Phoenix, all over Phoenix.
In your did you have a choice when you didn't see any Crips down where you live, so you were natural?
I mean, no, it was a few Crips, but Tucson is a Blood city. I mean, you got a few Crip gangs, but it's mostly Bloods who like the gang thing. Bloods run the gang thing.
Mm-hmm. In your opinion, do they run much in the detention center?
It depends. Like, you have people coming in and going out. It depends, like, what group comes in and what group goes out at the time. But Adobe Mountain is mostly Crips because it's mostly people from Phoenix. Mm-hmm. But from Adobe Mountain, I went to Catalina Mountain, where it's mostly people from Tucson. So that's when the tables turn.
Mm-hmm. Now, in your opinion, besides the basketball, I mean, this is your first taste of incarceration. It doesn't taste good.
Nah.
I mean, freedom is gone.
Freedom is gone.
But that didn't wake you up.
No.
You see, I always wonder, what is the thing, right? What's the tipping point? What's going to be the thing that does it?
I just looked at it like this. When I was in juvenile, I was like, I just come here and get my yoke on, hit these weights, get big, continue to play basketball and football. And I had this attitude like, yeah, when I get out this time, I'm really finna get it. And that was my attitude. Like, when I get out, I'm finna get completely on the grind this time. And that was my attitude.
When you're sitting there with your days going down, like the last 30 days, people start counting down, right? Hey, I got 30 days out. And when you hit the streets on your out date, no money in your pocket.
I had about, what did I have, like $50, $40 getting out of juvenile.
That was it, cash.
That was it, cash,
right.
Yeah.
Now, what are you going to do when you get out?
Oh, I got homeboys who I'm finna get some work from, which is crack. And I'm going to tell them to loan me 100. They give me 100, I'll bring them 100 back, but off that 100, I'll make 200. I just give them their 100 back. Now I'm doing my own thing.
So you have guys that are financing your business.
Yeah, they just helping me.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And because you're part of their gang, right?
Yeah.
Basically, okay. So when you're going through this, I just want to get this to because some people don't understand this. Like, sometimes Juvie might be, for some, not all, but might be their big wake-up call. Finally go, okay, that's it. I screwed up. I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah.
But I've just seen people run through there like, that was a camp for kids. That was no big deal.
Well, it was a big deal because you had to man up. I mean, it's terrible for some people. Some people get raped. Some people get beat up and ran off and going to PC. But me, I was standing on all 10 toes. Like, whatever it is, then bring it and let's get it over with, because I'm not going nowhere. And that's what it was.
Now, and just for our listeners and so forth, PC, protective custody.
Yep.
And you do that when you think your life is threatened or something's going to go down, right? And you're going to be put in protective custody. And you never went to protective custody. No. Okay. So, and I think people look down on people who PC out.
Oh yeah, everybody does.
Yeah, because hey, you're just
you're a coward.
Yeah, you're a coward.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I know people that probably should have done it. They were beaten up so bad they should have probably just taken the easy route out. But during this time, you got 2 years under your belt now. Detention again. For some people, it would wake them up. It didn't. You just kept continuing. And just as a little side note, I don't ever want to, and I know Chris is hard on this too, we never want to glamorize Juvie Hall, prison, jail, none of that.
Crack selling, none of that.
None of that. We're done with that, right? Right, bro?
Yeah, the wages of sin is truly death.
It is death. And I remember that. I still remember the taste of it, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just want to encourage you. I didn't want to get too much into it. I don't want to glamorize it.
At all.
Okay. So when you went to, when you got out in 89, you started going into the streets from 89 to 92. You had about a 4-year period where things kind of went okay.
A little bit, yeah. During the time, I really came up because one of my partners, his mom had died, and he got like an inheritance. And another one of my friends, he was sell ounces at this time was $800 an ounce.
Wow.
One of my friends, I know he robbed somebody. He just told me, man, I got ounces for $300. So I was like, what? So I told my other partner, hey, such and such over here got ounces for $300. He just got this lump sum of money from his mom's death, and he went and bam. And from that point on, I was like getting it.
So we're talking about it being financed at a high level now.
Yeah, like I would have double up. What double up is, you give me $50, I'll give you $100 worth of crack. So I was just like blowing cats out, like everybody come to me, like. No, I'm looking for Chris. I'm looking for Chris.
So you had a reputation on the streets as being a very fair guy.
I had clout.
You had clout and cred. So when you're doing this for 4 years, you're making some money. You're living pretty good.
I mean, I'm taking care of me and my baby mom. I had another son at this time, Christopher, and
your namesake.
Yeah, my namesake, and
you're helping.
Oh yeah. Like we got our own house, we got our own vehicles. Like we doing good. We're not doing as good as I would like to be doing, but we ain't doing bad.
You're eating. You got great place to live. You got good vehicles. You're raising your child, your son, and your namesake, by the way.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. I mean, all that all looks good to me.
But it all boiled down to this though: the wages of sin is death, and doing wrong don't last for long. When you're doing wrong, you got to be lucky all the time. The police only got to be lucky one time, and that's it. And they were lucky one time, and that was my time.
I by the way, I love your straight up way of expressing that. It is so much inherent luck for guys to go on and not get caught. They think it's skill.
They
think they're into it, but it's really not.
It's not luck. Either you telling or you working for the police, period. Because you're going to get caught. I don't care who you are. You're going to slip up, they're going to catch you, or somebody going to tell on you. Or you're going to get killed, or you're going to get in prison for the rest of your life. Like, ain't no glory in this dope game.
There isn't any.
Yeah, ain't no honest cats. Everybody a Judas.
And that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
There's a myth, even in the tight gang areas, that there's people, oh, I got your back. Well, not really.
Nah.
Now, I'll take care of your kid while you're doing time in detention.
Nah.
No, not really. Yeah, well, when we come back from the break, we're going to talk more with Chris about his amazing story and some of the lifestyle that he led. And you cannot believe that God would transfer a guy like Chris from the roll call of the damned, believe it, by the way, to the Lamb's Book of Life. To me, that is awesome, and that's why the kingdom of God, if he can change Chris, why can't he change you, right?
Amen.
I mean, come on.
Amen.
You know, everybody has an opportunity with the kingdom of God, and I just want to just express, just to listen to this, especially if you're a young person, you're hearing this, take heed.
Please do.
And just listen. For the first time, maybe God give you a wake-up call through this show. We'll be right back, right after this message.
You know the road to recovery can be difficult.
That was a really good segment. You were on it like just on it. Good answers, good questions. You and I know a lot of things, but my audience is so like CP and PC and stuff like that. We just want to explain it. You can use it. Just explain it.
Exactly. Gotcha.
BeyondFreedomFreedom.org. If you can't get to BFF on Friday nights, or you don't live in the Phoenix area, you can stay connected by joining BFF's Subscribe Tribe, where you receive their weekly study guide, so you can track with them online. Just sign up today on BFF's website at beyondfeartofreedom.org. And don't forget to listen to BFF's weekly video podcast with Debbie G and Sharon. Their own life experiences and their biblical influence will overhaul your thinking, your identity, and your future. They'll keep you encouraged with some great insights and biblical truth. Just friend them on Facebook or go out to their website at beyondfeartofreedom.org. BFF, where you might just discover the best friend forever.
Well, welcome back to 180. I am Steve Savant. I'm here with Chris McCrimmon. We're talking about his story, his testimony, and I like his very straight up ways. Listen, I don't know about you, but if the wages of sin is death, and it is,
It sure is.
I do not want to get paid by that. You know, I mean,
No.
if your currency is death, this is not the right program. We're coming out of death into life. We're coming out of darkness into light. And we're bringing light, like Ephesians says, we're bringing light to dark things,
Amen.
to expose them, right? Now, we want people to hear stories like yours, Chris. And again, if you're just coming into our show today and you didn't listen to Monday's show, you need to go back out on the web, out on the web a week after we broadcast, and we'll pick up the story right from the Monday get-go. You'll have a lot easier way to listen to the story in chronology. And Chris has got a lot of things that he can share that I hope and pray that you will listen to and then say, hey, I'm going to change.
Amen.
Now, when we're talking about the basic issues of in that 4-year period of living high on the hog, come on, not high on the hog, but hey, you're doing all right.
I'm doing
right?
good.
I loved your statement. You have to be lucky all the time. The police only have to be lucky one time. You're on everybody's radar from authorities and government, right? They're checking you out. They know who the players are, right? They're just waiting for you to make a mistake or something that they can do or somebody to turn on you.
Exactly.
In your experience, did you ever have a guy turn on you or turn you in or rat on you in any way?
Oh yeah, when I went to trial, further down the line, when I was sentenced to death, I had a guy show up and testify. A guy that I grew up with from junior high on up.
And it wasn't the truth.
It was somewhat of the truth, but he was like putting stuff together. So I always say the worst lie is the one that has a little bit of truth to it. So he knew something, but he didn't know all, and he was just saving his own neck.
Now, in all the experiences that you had trafficking drugs, I never heard you say you were carrying a weapon.
Oh, I had a weapon.
Okay. Did you feel like you ever had to be in a place where you might have to use that?
Oh yeah, several times in my neighborhood. Like people come up, you run up to a car, be like, "What you want?" "I want a 2-0, a 20." They had the money rolled up give you the money, you give them up, they punch off, it's a $2 bill. So you trying to shoot them and go grab your dope, but it's too late because they gone already. Or somebody might try to rob you. So I remember.
So it's not just the police I'm watching after.
No, you watching everybody. You watching cats trying to rob you, watching dope fiends trying to rob you, and you watching the police.
And who's covering your back?
You better be. Yeah.
You better be doing a 360 all day
Exactly.
long. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, see, this is, and just to say this again, and Chris and I are just trying to underscore this. Listen, this is no way to live.
Nah.
This is awful. And
It's
it sounds
terrible.
glamorous. I mean, it's like watching, it's like, Samuel L. Jackson's my favorite actor. Watching Shaft, I mean, nobody does it better. But that glamorizes things. It's not what it's like.
It's not what it's like.
This is no life for you, especially if you're a dad.
Especially if you're just trying to do right, period. There's no life for you.
But it's rough when you're not doing right? I mean, because you your heart was, you were brought up in a good way. You should know better, right?
I should.
Yeah, and you kind of, I don't know how, it's tough sometimes when grandma dies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and you kind of start, there's more space between her death, 3 years, 4 years, and you don't hear her in your conscience any longer.
Nah.
It's not that she didn't do a job, she did a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now it's starting to go to the people that we listen to, myself included, I'm sorry to say, hey, we just start, hey, that was then, this is now, I don't hear her voice like I used to hear it, so it's faint or not existent.
Very.
We know, and this is the difference between Chris and I's testimony. I had no knowledge of good and evil, immoral or not immoral. My life was just what it was.
Exactly.
But when you kind of know the truth, did any of this ever bother you when you were involved in this stuff? Because you know the Bible. It's not
I knew it a little bit, but it didn't bother me because I thought, like, hey, I'm just providing for my family. But you can get a job. I had a job. I was a certified nurse's aide. I would go to work Monday through Friday night. Friday from 11 to like 1 or 2 or 3 in the morning, I'll sell drugs. Saturday, same thing, sell drugs all day. And Sunday, just get ready to go back to work.
Now, I know you told me this in the pre-interview, but now this is very interesting because you don't strike me as a nurse's aide or a kind of a guy that wants to help people in that regard. But you did like
that comes from my grandmother, though, because as she got older and couldn't care for herself, me and my mom cared for her. When my mom was away, then guess what? I had to care for her. And then when it just got too bad, she got put in a nursing home. And everybody's like, man, you'll be good at doing this job. And it was an easy job. For me.
You liked it.
For me, yeah.
But think about this. I got a guy just sitting next to me here. He loves old people. He likes to help people.
Yeah.
Right?
That's where you get wisdom from.
Yeah. Oh, I'm there. I'm just like, it's so in contrast to, I just left my work and I just did a drug deal till 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're living two lives. It's a schizophrenia.
Exactly.
You're living the schizo life.
You're trying to be slick.
Yeah.
But slickness comes to an end because I know all the people that I worked with at the nursing home, they were like, I can't believe he was doing that.
Right.
Because my aunt is still a registered nurse to this day. And after I got arrested, she worked at the nursing home a few times. And she was like, I'm Chris's aunt. They was like, oh, I don't believe none of that stuff they're saying about him on the news and all that. Yeah, I was doing that. Yeah.
But it is tough because you had a heart for this.
Yeah.
See, this is why it's kind of confusing sometimes because I can't think, I don't, when you say this part, Chris the gangbanger is not Chris the nurse.
Yeah,
right?
but you know what the words say, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways.
And I guess
I was super double-minded.
Yeah, and I was super unstable, so I'm not going to, and I have found, by the way, it's sometimes when we have testimonies on, when you clear your soul of your story, right? So that the devil can never attack you again because it's out on the streets, it's on the airwaves, it's on the internet. It's too late for all that, right? And I've learned to live with my baggage, and everything else.
Got to.
And using it as a glory to God. Hey, this was this, now it's that.
And that's good that you said once you get it out there because what you keep in darkness is what the devil keep you bound with.
Exactly.
When you get it out to the light, now the light is shining on it, you ain't bound no more. Because this is what it is. You can't use that against me. Everybody know already.
That's right.
I ain't got nothing to hide. My life is an open book.
And I love that attitude because once we get under the light, people say, well, Steve, if I get under the light, the cockroaches are going to run out from underneath my shoes and so on. Well, okay, fine. That's where it is.
Go through it and get it over with.
Get it over with. Boy, I love that. Let's just get over with. In jail, we have a thing called the Ipecac episode. Ipecac is the stuff they give you in the ER. If you drank poison or your kid drank poison, they give you this charcoal substance that you use it, and then it helps you to throw up poison and so forth. It's in the ER, right?
Okay.
Ipecac. And I always tell people in prison, don't make payments on the pain and the hassles that you've been throughout life over the next 25, 30 years.
Amen.
Go ahead and have a big Ipecac episode. Just throw it out and get it done with. That's our recommendation. I know, Chris, you're with me on that.
Exactly.
Okay, so now we're coming up to the part where you're going to get arrested here, and what is you were doing really pretty good for 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and now, what was the slip up?
The slip up was I was helping some of my homeboys. Like, I would get work. Mm-hmm. I'll get like 9 ounces fronted to me. I didn't even have to pay for it, but I would help some of my homeboys.
But that's because they knew you were good for it.
They knew I was good for it. Mm-hmm. I helped some of my homeboys. When I was helping them, they was coming up short. Like, hey man, you need to get that money. Uh-huh. So one of them was like, okay, I got a lick. Mm-hmm. A lick is like a robbery or a jack move, mm-hmm. and we planned it out, and it all went wrong.
Mm-hmm. And you planned it out, but did I just hear you correctly? The only reason you went down this road to plan this was because somebody else shorted you.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, this is the thing. Like,
I had to make sure I got my money.
Right, but you're covering for somebody else who isn't covering you.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, this is the whole. How many times we have people through here, right? Mm-hmm. Why did you do this? Well, because I got shorted on the street myself. And now I got to make amends. I got to make that right. Other people in back of me that fronted me this stuff are going to have a problem.
And you know what the one thing is? Easy come, easy go. Mm-hmm. Money. You work hard for it, you treasure it, you spend it right, you get on a budget, and now you're thinking like, okay, I got this coming mm-hmm. in. But when you're just getting fast money, man, it's just like, okay, $2,500 here, $1,300 there, $7 here, $5 there, it's nothing.
It's nothing, and you're going to be able to get it next weekend anyways.
You get it back.
Right.
Yeah.
So all that is the big, what I call building your house on a sand.
Oh,
right?
in a real way. In a real way.
It's all going to come crashing down on the first wave in.
Bam.
And nobody sees it coming. You always
nobody sees it coming.
You think you got your eyes, you're watching your back. Nobody can look at themselves 24/7, 360 degrees.
Yeah.
No.
And see, this is the cold part. When I got arrested, they came to my job and arrested me. I was working at the Forum in Tucson on Grant and Rosemont. It's a retirement home, a fancy one. And I knew something was funny because I'm in there with a patient, and I'm getting her up, and the nurse is like, "Hey, somebody wants you at the front desk." I said, "Okay." When I finish, she's like, "No, go now." And I was like, "This lazy lady." The nurse, because all nurses do is give shots and prescribe pills. They don't do none of that. They just tell you, hey, you need to go clean him, you need to get him a shower, or you need to take his blood pressure. Sometimes they do it. And I knew something was up. I go to the front desk. They're like, "You Chris McCrimmon?" I'm like, "Yeah, like we need to talk to you in this room." As soon as I get in the room, you under arrest.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like, all right, I'm called.
Uh-huh. And let's go back to that part. When you're doing things that you're doing, this is why I say sometimes when people talk enough, they divulge their true heart. Most people would never take the job you had because, you're cleaning up old people's stuff, you're wiping them, you're taking them to shower.
You're doing all that.
That's right. And to me, because of your long-standing affection and love with your grandma, you had such a heart for this, and it just exposes it right now, right where we're talking. Mm-hmm. You had a heart still for people. Even though you're living a bad side of the fence, you had a good heart in a lot of things. Okay. Well, I just want to bring up things when people are doing right, they ought to need to hear it, and maybe it be an encouragement. Hey, don't forget to check out BFF's Friday night at 5:30 to 6:15 for food, fellowship, and child care is provided. 6:15 for some of the best sharing you've ever experienced. And don't forget, sometimes I go out there and check out the gals. They're pretty good. For more information, just go out to their website at beyondfeartofreedom.org. So until next time, I'm Steve Savant, and remember, no one's outside the reach of God. No, not one.
Amen.